You closed your eyes last night, and somewhere in the hours that followed, you were probably running from something, falling off something, or back in a school you haven't thought about in years. And the weirdest part? You just accepted it, no questions asked, full emotional buy-in to whatever your brain made up entirely. So what's actually happening in there? Because most people assume dreams are just mental static, the brain powering down, thoughts randomly firing like a car engine sputtering out, random noise, nothing more. The science says that's almost certainly wrong. Dreams happen mainly during REM sleep, rapid eye movement, a stage your brain cycles into several times a night, roughly every 90 minutes. During REM, your neurons are firing at nearly the same rate as when you're fully awake. Your body is essentially paralyzed. Your mind is running a full simulation. And nobody, not a single neuroscientist alive, has reached a proper consensus on exactly why. That should actually stop you for a second. We've mapped the human genome. We've put things on Mars. We genuinely still don't know why you dreamed about your third-grade teacher last Tuesday. One of the more compelling theories is called the threat simulation theory, developed by Antti Revonsu. His argument is that dreaming evolved as a kind of rehearsal space, a biological flight simulator that runs in a consequence-free environment every single night, letting you practice dangerous situations without any real risk. Think about the dreams that actually stick with you, the ones that wake you up with your heart going, being chased, losing someone, showing up completely unprepared for something huge. Revonsu's research found that threatening events are significantly overrepresented in dreams compared to real waking life. The brain isn't selecting these randomly, it's drilling, running scenarios it considers worth preparing for. Which reframes the nightmare in a pretty uncomfortable way. That dream where something is chasing you and your legs just won't move? Your brain may have scheduled that on purpose because somewhere deep in your evolutionary wiring, practicing fear has survival value. You were being trained while you slept. But there's a competing idea that pulls in a completely different direction. Matthew Walker, author of Why We Sleep, has written about REM sleep as something closer to overnight emotional processing. During REM, the brain does something chemically unusual. Norepinephrine, the neurochemical closely tied to stress and anxiety, drops to its lowest point of the entire day, the only time this happens. So your brain ends up replaying emotionally loaded memories, difficult ones, painful ones, but inside a neurochemical environment that's been stripped of the acute stress response. You're re-experiencing something without fully re-suffering through it. Walker describes this as the brain gradually taking the emotional sting out of hard memories, processing the weight of an experience while keeping the memory itself intact. It's why things genuinely tend to feel more manageable after sleep. The phrase "sleep on it" is thousands of years old, and as it turns out, neurologically defensible advice. And here's something worth adding to that. People who are consistently deprived of REM sleep don't just feel tired. Studies have shown they become significantly more emotionally reactive, less able to regulate their responses to stress, and more likely to perceive neutral faces as threatening. The overnight processing isn't a bonus feature, it's load-bearing. Skip it enough times and the emotional backlog starts to show. Now, here's where it gets personal, and this is the part that tends to make people a little uncomfortable. The content of your dreams is not random. It's specific to you in ways that are almost embarrassing once you notice them. Researchers found that people who grew up in regions with limited access to color television before a certain age report dreaming in black and white at significantly higher rates than those who grew up with color TV. Your visual environment during childhood appears to have literally shaped the look of your internal dream world. The palette your brain uses to build your dreams, your childhood built that. And the characters who show up, the fears that surface, the situations that keep repeating, these aren't accidents. Freud's specific interpretations have largely been discredited, fine, but his broader instinct that dreams are psychologically revealing wasn't entirely wrong. Researcher G. William Domhoff spent decades cataloging dream content and consistently found that what people dream about closely mirrors their waking concerns, relationships, and unresolved emotional tensions. The person you keep dreaming about, there's probably something there. The scenario that won't stop recurring, your brain has flagged it for a reason. Something shifts noticeably in people who've been through significant trauma, and it's worth understanding why. In most dreams, even unsettling ones, there's some narrative distance. Things shift, settings change, the usual strange logic of dreams applies. But in PTSD-related nightmares, researchers have noted that the traumatic event often replays with unusual accuracy. Same location, same details, same emotional intensity. The threat simulation system, which normally introduces variation, appears to get stuck, running the same drill on repeat, never reaching any kind of resolution. This is part of why certain trauma therapies now specifically target dream content, because whatever process dreaming is supposed to complete, the emotional processing, the filing away, the reduction of distress, it hasn't completed. The brain keeps returning to the same unfinished file, night after night. Then there's lucid dreaming, which complicates everything further. A lucid dream is one where you become aware mid-dream that you are dreaming, aware enough sometimes to actually influence what happens. A 2016 meta-analysis found that 55% of people have experienced at least one lucid dream, with a smaller group having them regularly. The neuroscience behind it is genuinely strange. During a normal dream, activity in your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-awareness, logic, and critical thinking, drops significantly. That's a big reason why you don't question the bizarre things unfolding in front of you, why you just accept that your childhood home now has 17 hallways and a room you've never seen before. During a lucid dream, the prefrontal cortex partially reactivates. A light switches on in a room that's supposed to be dark. You become aware that you're watching your own unconscious production in real time, which some researchers find fascinating as a window into consciousness itself, and others find deeply unsettling for exactly the same reason. So step back for a second. You spend roughly 2 hours every single night dreaming. By the time you're 75, that's around 6 full years spent inside experiences your brain generated completely from scratch, emotionally real, spatially convincing, full of people you love and people you've never met, following rules that don't always apply to waking life. 6 years in a world that isn't there. And most of it is gone within minutes of waking up. The forgetting is almost as strange as the dreaming itself. Researcher Francis Crick, yes, the DNA guy, proposed that dreaming might partly function as a clearing process, the brain selectively pruning connections and information it no longer needs. Forgetting not as failure, but the whole point. The dream dissolves because it was never meant to be retrieved, only processed. What I keep thinking about is just how much of this you'll never actually know. Every night your brain builds something, a full experience, emotionally real, visually convincing, and by morning most of it is just gone. Not faded, gone. And that's been happening your entire life, every single night in a part of your mind you have basically no access to. Whatever got processed last night, whatever got replayed or rehearsed or filed away, you didn't get a summary. You just woke up, probably a little groggy, and got on with your day. That's the deal your brain made with you, apparently, and you keep agreeing to it. One more thing, there's a link in the description to a bundle I think a lot of you will find genuinely useful, especially if this video landed with you in some way. Given that sleep is one of the most important things your brain does, and most of us are still not actually fixing it, just thinking about fixing it, the bundle includes a dedicated 7-day sleep guide built around daily actions, not just information. There's also guides on clearing mental backlog, rebalancing your dopamine so your brain stops craving constant noise, and rebuilding your focus one day at a time. Each one gives you a specific thing to do each day, which is honestly the part most psychology content leaves out entirely. It's in the pinned comment too, so I hope you check it out. And if you want more videos like this one, subscribe and hit the notification bell.